When nothing is sure, everything is possible. Hi, my name is Ashish Adhikari. I'm the founder of Red Mud Coffee. When I set out on this voyage 5 years ago, I did not know in any way that I would be operating, actually 7 now. Just last week we opened 2 new kiosks, so now we are at 7. I did not know that, I really didn't know the true meaning of the word entrepreneur. I had never really used it. I did not know anything about venture capital and foreign direct investments. But one thing I surely knew is that I believed in my idea and that I could make it work. I knew I was not the smartest guy in town, but I was sure about my ability to learn quickly. I was driven by my passion to do business and my desire to be able to do something fruitful with my life. When I started off half a decade ago, events like these were really non-existent. When I was in school, I was taught to follow the beaten path and seek the less ordinary life. But the scene is different today. Colleges are encouraging their students to become leaders and risk takers, and I believe it's about time. When I was told to do a talk on expediting my startup Voyage, I started to think, because this topic was really intriguing. Would it be appropriate for me to give an impression to these young, aspiring young entrepreneurs of tomorrow in this audience that there is a formula to expediting your business and drive it into the path of success? The answer is no. So let me clear right away. There is no shortcuts or any set formulas to expedite your startup. Yes, there are certain processes, skill sets that might be a common factor for all of us here. That is what what I intend to share with you today. I want to tell you that startups are all about solving real-life problems. And to solve a problem, you have to recognize it first. For example, drinking Italian coffee in Kathmandu when coffee grows right here in our hills is a problem I set out to fix. If eating imported apples when the best damn apples are grown in Mustang and Manang is a problem. Sending a whole generation of mavericks, entrepreneurs, artists, coders, programmers abroad to develop someone else's country is a problem. If you know the problem you intend to solve, get into action, and expediting happens as a consequence of your efforts. So when I thought about this topic, this image kept popping up in my head. When I started, I really didn't know that I would be standing here talking to you guys. I had no plans of doing that either. For me, the last 5 years has been like sailing out into the big ocean of unknowns with few people that I managed to convince that this was a great idea. And however, as you sail into this unknown voyage, you are practically trying to convert this little raft into a sailboat, add more people to it, and gain more momentum and speed. There are no shortcuts, like I said. Startups are pure risks, and no course book can prepare you for the realities of the rough sea. Startup is a mindset. So what I can bring of value to this audience is what I believe helped me scale up my company from a 2-person company to a 65-strong organization today. 90% of startups fail in the first 3 years. So if you consider yourself you can consider yourself a rare breed if you've managed to go over the 3-year mark. This means that you've mastered the skill of survival. Once you have come to this point, you have 2 choices, grow or die. I made a choice to turn Red Mud into an organization. And I will share with you the specific things that triggered the growth in me personally and in my business. I practically didn't know what a business model was. I really didn't care for a business proposal or getting anything formally organized or planned. So when I jumped into finding out what a BMC was, it totally changed my perspective. I wanted to do everything from growing coffee to processing it to selling cappuccinos and momos. Having the business model helped me sort out and allowed me to understand what my strengths and weaknesses were and where you wanted to channel your resources for maximum output. Working on the business model allowed me to refine my visions, channel my focus and effort into what is going to be the most beneficial for my company. This factor had a huge impact in my career. Back in 2014, I enrolled my business into Rockstar Impact, where I met some people who challenged my assumptions, forced me to rethink my strategies, and advised me to take bold decisions. Mentors helped me shape my vision and expand my horizons. So if you're thinking of starting up a business or any kind of a startup or a social organization or anything that you're trying to do, I'm quite sure there's people out there that have already done it. So I advise you to find someone who you can relate to and trust and seek knowledge from. Having a mentor is indispensable in a startup. That was my office for 2 years. This was a little space that I rented out that nobody else would in Trade Tower, Thapatali. It was a small little shack under the staircase next to my cafe. I sat there for 2 years, and that's where I sat every day. This is actually a final version of it. I have my lunch there, and my chair, and everything, computers. I actually started with just a laptop and just me working in the cafe. So my advice to the young people today is stay frugal. I've seen startup companies go out and create these big, nice offices and big, invest into so many new big technology, and if it is not needed, I've seen those companies fail as well in the first 1 year because they're not using the resources in the right places and not channeling their efforts into the right things. So my advice is, if this was my office, the point I'm trying to put across is that I can afford a little better office today, but starting off you might not need something like that. The only time I took off from work was during Kasai. I did not have a salary for 2 years and no social life for 2 years, no time to relax for 2 years, period. So it was a lot of hard work. So I advise you to stay frugal. If you dream to gain something in the future, learn to sacrifice today. Another big factor about a growing company is who you surround yourself with. Business for me has always been about my people. It is crucial to understand whom you surround yourself with. It is critical to recognize talent and sincerity. Then to consistently train these people, reward them, eventually leave them and trust them. The reason I can be here on a Tuesday afternoon is because I have some of the best people in Kathmandu working for me. If you ask me what has helped Redmond get to where it is today, and if I had to sum it up in one sentence, I would have to say, Redmond's consistent pursuit of gaining market share. The only measurable tool for me personally is to grow, the only measurement tool for me personally to measure your growth is how much market share you are gaining each day. What is your top line revenue and what is your bottom line? How big is the slice of the pie in the bigger pie? The biggest mistake I made was, in the early days, was sourcing capital for long-term growth from people and places that had no stake in my company's growth. They only cared for their interest and principle. True growth is impossible without long-term investment. My quest for growth capital met with Rockstar Impact 2014, where Redmond Coffee became the recipient of the first ever investment deal through a business accelerator in Nepal. Having a partner who believes in your vision and in your team has become the catalyst for our constant growth. Coffee is my passion. In addition, we do not aspire to just sell you coffee. We aspire to create social hubs from Meiji to Mahakali, where people come face to face in real life. And when people come face to face in real life, they get some stuff done, especially with coffee in their system. Stuff stacks up and shape up into real life. Relationships are built. Businesses are conducted, social work takes shape, genuine impact is made in society when people come together to drink coffee. When you drink a cappuccino at Redmond, a coffee farmer in rural Nepal is able to send his kids to school from the money that he makes from growing this fine product. We are able to put salaries in the hands of 65 young Nepalese who otherwise would have probably been slaving it out in Dubai, Qatar, or Malaysia. Thus, I ask you to truly understand what makes you get out of that bed every morning and understand what problem of society are you solving. I'm going to keep it short. I hope that whatever I said is fruitful to this young audience. And I thank KCM for giving me this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to some of your questions. Thank you.